offense back inside the 5-yard line. He's always been good at that. But also the guys getting down there and being in position is big to it as well. Just how important was that?
It was critical. Special teams can be looked at, in my opinion, in two different ways, right? In the return game, you want to be explosive, but then in your cover units, you want to make sure that you control field position. I thought we did a really good job of that the other night, especially in the two plays you're referring to with Alex. Really, he's super gifted in terms of his ability to in those sky kick situations, but the guys covering, Jamie Robinson, Pokey, Jakai, they did a great job of getting to their landmarks. Alex put the ball where it needed to be, and those are critical plays in the game because it does tip the field position in significant favor of us, and force them to have long drives. And one of them, obviously, we got the interception right off of it, and those are the things I try to show them. On Sunday is, yes, the play in and of itself was tremendous, but this is how you impacted the game. So 3 plays later, Greedy gets a pick, and then we go ahead and score. So all 3 units working together, it's a big deal in terms of how we can control field position.
Brendan? We've seen Patrick impact games or even practices with just his arm length to deflect passes and whatnot, but the play he made to force the fumble, the awareness, along with just the physical attributes there to be able to swat it down. How impressive was that for a guy of his lack of experience?
Yeah, one of the things with Patrick that obviously is one of his gifts is he is tremendously long, and that's one of the things that you look at in terms of recruiting when you're looking for edge rushers is that length. But the thing that makes Patrick special, in my opinion, is to be able to have the wherewithal in a game situation like that to allow the game to slow down enough for him to have the awareness to get the ball out, get his hands up and deflect passes. Like Pat does a lot of things that aren't we teach and drill, but his ability to then execute it in the moment is awesome. He's got some natural instinct to him. He's a football player. And I think that's sometimes the best compliment you can give a guy is when you can say he's a football player. He's got great football aptitude. He's smart. He understands the game. I think he visualizes things like that happening before they happen. So when it does show up, it seems like it slows down for him. But he definitely plays like a guy with more experience than what he has, and he keeps getting better. And I can't say enough good things about the way he's approached his work over the last 8 or 9 weeks.
Did that punter catch a not real catchable punt? Mike has been really good at it all year, kind of running up and catching them, but he had some that were just kind of wobbly and weird, and Mike has stayed away.
Yeah, they do a great job, just of trying to keep the ball out of your hands, and especially in a game situation where you're really in control of the game like we were. I trust Mike to make good decisions back there, and you could tell that they were directionally punting the ball away from him. That Aussie style of kicking with some of the low trajectory with it, and I think he made good judgments. And yes, there was a little bit of hidden yardage that we gave up when the ball hit and rolled, but in a game where you have control and there's a significant lead, the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position to create a turnover. And I think he did a good job in terms of feeling the ones he could, and the ones that he didn't, I thought those were good decisions.
Throughout the game, but even earlier, I think maybe the first drive, you guys were rotating so many defensive linemen, putting young guys out there in a huge game early in the game. Is there still any trepidation when you put those guys out there, or are you guys confident now that it's just like the starters?
Really no concerns, and I do think that is the silver lining or the blessing in disguise that showed up early in the year when those guys were forced into those situations because of some of the injuries that we had. At this point, with I'll use DNs as an example, but certainly could use tackles as well. But I have no Leonard and Pat just roll in with Derek and Verse, and they were basically on alternating series the other night. And I told them, don't even ask me who's up next. It's just every other series, change it. Now I'll make the substitutions within the series, but you guys roll it through. And the reason I feel confident and comfortable with that is because of the work that they were able to get, over the last 6 or 7 weeks when we did have some nicks and some injuries up front and the experience. But inside, talking about like a Josh Farmer or Malcolm Ray or, you know, the whole group that's rolling through with Coop and Fabo. I mean, I think that they're becoming more of an interchangeable group, and we feel comfortable with them.
Brendan?
After the game, Jared Verse said this is probably the most fun he's ever had playing football for you as a coach, as a mentor. To hear that, I guess, is that one of the nicest things, most rewarding things for you as a coach?
You know, honestly, that did mean a lot when I saw the quote. I mean, I wasn't in the press conference. I saw it on Twitter after the game, and that does speak to the fact that we try to do things the right way in every facet of the program, and the fact that he's having that experience, you know, says that we are probably doing some things right, and you know, and how we coach and how we treat people, how we mentor, how we appreciate the guys' work. And you know, I've always said that I feel like, you know, the players are an extension of your family. And, you know, even with my own kids, I'm going to tell them the truth. It might not always be what they want to hear, but it's going to be the truth. And, you know, I think when you're like that as a position coach or as a father or just as a person, people respect that because people want honesty. And you know, I think Jared's experience here has been good, and, you know, I hope it continues for a little while. We'll see.
Ira?
It looked like in the I think you guys, was it Fabian that broke the rock after the game?
Yes.
I know he's part of it's probably just him being back and being full go, but how impactful was he in that game?
Fabian played well. You know, Fabian did make an impact in the game, and just his physical presence, obviously, but also just his leadership and just what he brings to the defensive line makes a big deal. And I think, and I don't want to speak for Coach in any way, but Coach Norvell did say that Fabian was there representing the defense because he thought the defense deserved to break the rock. So, you know, I think that was more of him representing the whole group as opposed to just an individual effort. But, you know, he is that leader of the defense. So if there was going to be a defensive representative, it would be him.
Aslan?
You know, Mike is a guy who moved thousands of miles across the country to come here to make plays. And when he's that involved offensively, do you have to talk to him about returning punts to not force things, or is he just so mature that you can trust the fact that he's hungry to make plays, but he'll still do the right thing?
No, you know, he's mature. I think he understands. He's not gonna put. I think the only time I've ever seen him press at all is when he felt like, from a team perspective, we needed to spark something and get something going. I don't think it's ever had to do with him individually in terms of you know, wanting to make plays himself. I mean, he makes you know, like I say, I think he makes good decisions. I trust him. You know, and he's had some pretty good return opportunities, and I think we'll continue to create those for him. But yeah, he's got a great competitive spirit to him, but he's also a good decision maker.
Court?
I think Jamie's the one that downed the first punt down there, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Does he always play? Is he on, how many special teams units is he on?
Jamie starts on 2 special teams units. He starts on kickoff cover and on punt.
What does that say about him? Because he plays more snaps than anybody on the defense. He hardly ever comes off the field. For him to still give you that kind of effort on punt, what does it say about him? And I guess what does it say about y'all's belief in him just being a football player and going and making plays at any?
Yeah, you know, I think all that starts with the culture that Coach Norvell has brought here in terms of how we approach our special teams. We play our best players on our units, and that's really across the board, you know, regardless of position that you're talking about. And, you know, on kickoff cover, those are going to be the real guys that run down on kickoff, and same for punt. You know, when we start kind of deciding depth charts, the punt unit is the first one that we start deciding who's going to be on that. And you know, when your best players are also valuable special teams guys, obviously it's important for the program, but it goes both ways, because we also understand that our guys aspire to have careers in the NFL, and for the most part, unless you're, you know, a handful of select guys, you are on those special teams units. And I think our guys understand that they need to put that on tape as well. That if they're going to be a draftable player, that they're going to have to show that they also create some special teams value. And I think they embrace that and take advantage of the opportunities that they have.
Brendan?
Sticking with Jamie, understanding he's not part of your position group, but you're involved with pass rush packages and whatnot. Like, what does Jamie do well as a blitzer, and how good has he been in that role as it's expanded for him this season?
Jamie's a really good blitzer. I think for a couple reasons. One, he has a knack in terms of timing. I think he does a really good job timing his blitzes. He's got great short area quickness, meaning like he can get to top speed in a very quick, short amount of time, very quickly. And I think those two things combined give him success. Obviously, that was kind of an iconic play that he made around the goal line. You always, every time they do, either advertisements or little video clips of big Miami, Florida State games, and you see that like Marvin Jones hit, and that was kind of like a defining moment in that game. Like to me, in like this modern time, like that play is gonna be one of those clips because it spoke more than just what the play was.
Okay, thanks, guys.
It's good.
Awesome, thank you.